So many parents who want to send their kids to Canada for study purposes ask me all the time, Z, where do we get started? But more importantly, what do we need? In this video, I'm going to summarize everything you need to know about just getting started with studying in Canada so that you can advise your kid in the right way. So there are two things you need to prepare for when you're sending your kids to Canada. Number one is admission, and number two is visa. So what do you really need to take care of early on in the admissions process? Number one, make sure that your kid actually studies and scores at least 70% CGPA and above. If they can't manage to score that, their options are going to be very limited. They might be able to still secure admission, but it's going to affect them in the visa process. Why? Because if their grade average is less than 70%, a visa officer might say that they might not be able to cope with their studies when they move to Canada. Then you got to think about IELTS requirements. As a parent, you need to make sure that your child really practices their English. Get them to watch English talk shows or TV shows like Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon. Get them to watch English movies so that they can work on their English pronunciations and enunciations. So these two things, basically your grade average and English requirement, if you can score them high enough, at least above 70%. For IELTS, you need at least a 6 for undergrad, and for postgrad, you need 6.5. Make sure that your IELTS individual score never goes below 5.5 for undergraduate and below 6 for postgraduate. And if you do score a little lower, always remember your options are going to be limited and you might not be able to make it to your desired institution. Another thing I want to add for the parents specifically, stopping your kids from trying to prepare in advance for this. Just because they're focusing on their exams doesn't mean that their Canada process is going to go super smooth. They really need to know what program they're going to study in the future and prepare for that in advance, because then they will know that they cannot mess up the core subject requirements. So many students mess up their core subject requirements, and then when they start the process for studying in Canada, they realize they don't have the right grades to get into their desired program. And this thing takes a lot of time. So again, prepare in advance. Number two, visa. This is where the parent actually plays a bigger role than the student. Admission is all dependent on the student, but visa is all about the parents if you're planning on sponsoring your child. So what do you really aim for? I like to recommend that you have to at least show 50 to 60 lakhs for a 2 to 3 year program in Canada. That could be a master's program, a diploma, or an advanced diploma. If you're going for an undergraduate program, which is 4 years, then I would ask you to keep a budget of at least 70 to 80 lakhs. This definitely confirms your visa, but more importantly, you don't only have to show funds, you also got to show consistent income. And the required income for Canada is 24,000 Canadian dollars, and there's a specific way you need to show that. If you don't, your visa is most likely to get refused. So if you're a parent and you're thinking, how do I arrange my funds from now on, at least prepare, this is what you got to keep in mind. If you don't have the funds but have the possibility of getting the funds by maybe selling your assets and all that stuff, do that early on. Again, there is a way to do this, and make sure you seek professional advice to get this done in the right way. Then obviously there's 1,000 other things that need to get taken care of, like visa forms, SOP writing, and all that stuff, but that's for later. But for now, at least you want to know the basic details just to get started. And I hope this video gave you that. If you want to see more, definitely like, follow, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'm going to keep posting more of these. And one more thing I want to add is I do own a company called Connected, where we help students with the entire admission, visa, and career development process when they move abroad. So if you want to learn more, check out the link in the comments. That being said, I will see you in the next video.